Sup. Alright. Alright. Hopefully, that's cool. Fuck. Hey, it's me. In real life. I'm not a green cat. Holy shit. But no, I thought I'd do like a little video because I have decided to trek to the most dangerous of countries, dangerous of cities, in fact. I've gone to hell, aka Birmingham. Oh, I woke up in a steaming mood, yeah, because I live in a fucking shithole. But yeah, no, I'm actually here for a tournament called Versus Fighting, and if you don't know what that is, it's a fighting game tournament that happens every year. It takes place in Birmingham, unfortunately, but one of the things that I've kind of wanted to do is kind of talk about going to local events, going to your locals, going to these tournaments and everything like that. And I think it's just kind of interesting, and I have very much a lot to talk about because I've got a lot of experience both as a tournament organizer back in the day, but also just as a somewhere to go for community and that sort of thing. So come along with me, and hopefully we'll have a good time. I don't fucking know, but yeah. So I was recording at the venue, doing all this, and I thought, oh wow, that was really cool. I did a really good job. And then I listened to the video, and the recording, the mic did not pick up anything. It didn't pick up fucking anything. So guess who has to re-record that whole section? Me. I think one of the main reasons nowadays that we've gone to more in-person local events would be due to the rise of social media, specifically algorithm-based social medias. You have your Twitters, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your Blue Skies. Yes, I'm including Blue Sky in this. You're not getting a fucking pass. I have a bone to pick with Blue Sky. And you may think, why would you want to leave social media and go to these locals, these majors? And that's simply because it's just fun to be around other people, have this in-person connection, build bonds with your friends, have similar goals, and all that jazz. It's just nice. It's just nice. It's very nice. It's very nice to have. And social media is just kind of toxic, especially with FGC. One of the reasons why I left Twitter, outside of, everything else, it's how negative the entire FGC really was in regards to balance, characters, and the like. Take, for example, I really just hated all of the discourse surrounding, Strivers and all that jazz. And, as much as I do like playing Strive, it's just, it gets a bit too much. It gets a bit too much. And a lot of the memes are very negative, they're very biased, and of course, this is the negativity bias at play here, and that's a universal thing rather than it just being a specific social media or an FGC thing. But, it's just not great to deal with 24/7. And that's why I left Twitter. And Blue Sky does still have that in spades, though every now and then you just find a Wine-mon liberal to just poke and make fun at because they're just stupid. Or you find that one of the devs of Blue Sky just randomly decided to put his hot phone in a pool, and then when people joked about it, he banned like half of the banned half of the community because of that. It was like that was fun. Remember that? Remember when that happened? That was fun. But social media is toxic. Water is wet, you know? It's kind of simple to say that, but when everything is surrounding social media now, ever since the pandemic, it's kind of blended both the internet and personal lives together, both in a political sense and also in a just social relationship way. There's been a lot of articles, reports, and studies done to figure out how social media is negatively affecting our mental states, whether it's purely through manipulation through political schemes or just how it has affected our social relationships as a result. It's why going to these local events, for me personally, it's just a good way to escape from the internet-ridden world. It's a place to have community. It's a place to have joy and fun and have lots of fun and banter. Like yesterday, after I recorded the intro, I went to this really nice Chinese place. We had a lot of fun. We had nice, fun times chatting shit, and it's just nice to be with other people. The internet sucks. Stop that. There's also another avenue that I wanted to talk about, and that is Fury Fighter's video on disconnect, negativity, and I forgot the third thing. I forgot the third thing in that title. I'll flash it up whenever I remember it in the editing scheme. But essentially, his video is all about his experience playing 2XKO and how negative that discussion is. Like, don't get me wrong, 2XKO has its problems. The name, for example, I just messed up it, and also just today they released a blog making fun of the names and also a jab at Undernight, which is I don't know about that. There's also issues with the mechanics, there's also issues with character balance, and before it was Yasuo, before it was Teemo, and now it's Ari. Maybe it might be Fresh, I don't fucking know at this point. But even his video was talking about how you should just play the game. If you enjoy the game, then just fucking play it. And the best way to play that is to simply go to a local. It's simply to go to an environment that a lot of people agree with, a lot of people gel with, have fun, you know, good old fun, and then together they can all make fun of you, of Fresh being stupid and broken, maybe. I don't know, I'm not into that shit. But yeah, it's great fun. It's swag. It's epic. It's hashtag epic sauce. I don't. So that's one avenue of locals, but I'm sure there's more. Let's talk about the big important thing. Community.
Now, find a new rival.
Okay, so I realized there hasn't been really a tour done for like VSF, so I'm gonna show you around. So let's get on. Fuck yeah. So here's all the old school cabinets. You've got we have MVC2, we've got VSAP, aka Darkstalkers, and then over here we have Street Fighter, Third Strike, and Super Turbo. Hell yeah. So over here is the Tekken area. So you've got like your thing there, you have some setups over here, and then over here is where you get your like merch and stuff. There's like some arcade parts over there, so anyway, let's go upstairs. Over here, there's like hot food. Right here is the Street Fighter 6 area, full of Street Fighter 6 and drive rushing and other things. Like, look at this. How very cool. Here is Papa John's Pizza for $2.99. I remember it was like cheaper last year. Fuck, okay. In here you got Invincible versus, and I think I see what is it? The City of Wolves? That game? I completely forgot the name of it. There's a nice little coffee shop here. Very nice. That is my friend. He is cool and nice. He is very cool and nice. Arguably, the main reason why a lot of people go to these locals or main events is to simply go there for the community. It is a genuinely brilliant time. You have a lot of connections, and it's all for one single hobby. Being the absolute shit out of each other in a video game, of course, not in real life, unless you want to do that, I guess. There's so many things you can do at a local. Like, for example, if you're at a bar, you could just grab a pint and drink with your fellow gamers. You can play casuals with your mates. You can chat shit about the big topic of the day, whether it's a broken character or mechanic that's just stupid and busted. But it's great at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, you are bonding with your fellow colleagues, your fellow gamers, your fellow strivers, I guess. But it's also a good time because you are all there for similar goals, whether it's to not go 0-2, whether it's to have fun, whether it's to hit a sick combo in a stream, or just be on stream and practice your commentary. It's a really great time, and I highly recommend you do whatever that you seem fit to do so. I have known people who come to these events from all over the fucking globe, mainly from Europe, like Sweden, Germany, Finland, Greece, and etc. It's a great time, and seeing these people who you know from a profile picture and seeing them in real life is really great, and I highly appreciate it. I have met a great amount of friends, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. One of the videos I've been watching for this video is one done by Core Gaming, and it's specifically the one on why we need community. And his video touches on a lot of aspects that I think is beautiful. However, he also uses a lot of religious terms as well. For example, he uses terms like temples, schisms, rituals, sects, and the like. And don't get me wrong, I think that's mainly due to the book he was basing the video on, has, from what I've read, it has a lot of religious iconography attached to it. But it also makes me think, is the FGC a religion? Like, we all come here for one singular goal from different backgrounds, and even though we are all different people, we still come together and enjoy the community as a result. And there's a concept I've been thinking about a lot that proves this point.
While I was researching this video, I came across a term that I've heard before, but never in this kind of context. And that's the term Ubuntu. Not Linux. It's a different thing. It's a different thing entirely. So, what is Ubuntu? It's a African philosophical term that is based around community and how people become themselves through others in community aspects. It was more well known in Bantu tribes in pre-colonial days, but has recently gone a transformation thanks to South African theologians and activists. This includes Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. I was also searching up videos on how to explain Ubuntu, but there's this one by Nelson Mandela himself, and I think it was done by Ubuntu, the Linux guys. It's so weird. I don't know how else to describe it.
So when we were young, a traveler through a country would stop at a village and he didn't have to ask for food or for water. Once he stops, the people give him food, entertain him. That is one aspect of Ubuntu, but it will have various aspects.
Now, there's a lot of complex ideas with Ubuntu, but one of the main ones is the term, I am because we are, or I am people through other people. Ubuntu is a philosophy that prides itself in collectivism and community rather than individualism. Though bear in mind, you can still be an individual, but because of how interdependent we are as humans, we crave companionship, we crave friendships, we crave those bonds that we need to survive. And Ubuntu is that idea.
Here's a quote from the book Everyday Ubuntu.
In the West, we are also taught that it is a badge of honor to claim to be self-made. We applaud those whom we perceive as having achieved fame and fortune through their own efforts, happy to overlook the fact that nothing can be achieved in a vacuum. We are further taught that competition leads to self-fulfillment and progression, even though pitting yourself against others lead to unhelpful comparisons and a grinding sense of not being enough. How often have you compared your own life to someone else's and felt worse off? How often do you crave more, however much you already have? A bigger house, more money, more work, more time off? Ubuntu teaches us the opposite of this, and says that absolutely everyone on this earth is of equal value because our humanity is what matters the most. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we should value other people's contributions to our day-to-day life.
And while I was researching Ubuntu, something came into mind, and that's how much connections there are between Ubuntu and the FGC. Bear in mind, this is not a one-to-one comparison. The FGC is inherently competitive, so take that with a grain of salt. But as someone who has been with the FGC and similar groups for like the last 10 years, I've felt like Ubuntu is the pure essence of the FGC. We are a community that strives on connections. We
are a community that, while having our own goals, we have other people to rely on, to teach us things, to help us create connections, whether they be friendly or rivals. It's a very interesting concept, and I can't stop thinking about it since I've started to learn about it. You can still have a community through online aspects such as a Discord server. Hell, that's what most of my friends are from. But going to these offline events and tournaments and locals, it's a way to strengthen those bonds together. We forge memories of cool shit that happens at these tournaments, and isn't that something that we all want? Something for us to bond with and create ourselves in a new community?
Now, find a new rival.
Hi, Recording Meadow here. I would like to take a little break to talk about some of the rituals me and my friends do at Versus Fighting. One of them is a yearly trip to a lovely Korean barbecue place in Chinatown. It has some of the most delicious food ever, we have a great banter between friends, and there's a lot of soju. Another one is a mystery tournament that is run by my friend. This tournament is very grassroots, being managed by only a piece of paper, and the games we play are just absolute bangers. Last year we did Dive Kick, the year before Kianta. This tournament was different as we all played Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger, and it's a game, I suppose. I managed to get 4th purely because I spammed Taokaka's drive attacks and used 236A constantly, while some of the other players just did this. The biggest ritual our group does is that of Greg's Fest. Whenever we go out or do something, we always meet by a Greg's that is close by to the venue, and it's relatively cheap too, so people just go there to have it for breakfast. But there's this one guy in our group who loves it so much that he just eats Greg's for breakfast, lunch, and maybe dinner at times. I would also like to reveal that he is also Italian. The guy lives in the place where you have delicious coffee, pizza, and pasta, and he can't get enough of fucking Greg's. I do not understand this man. Anyway, enough about these rituals. I think it's time to get a little bit serious. I have been lying by omission as for the real reason why I decided to make this video, and that's because of a post. On the 29th of June, Evo announced a project called Evo Locals, a program that intends to help the FGC find local events, provide resources to TOs, and help improve the local scene to keep them running forever. And you may think, hey, isn't this pretty cool and a great way to support the scene? Well, you'd be wrong. Evo is currently owned by RTS, which was then acquired by the Public Investment Fund in 2025. The Public Investment Fund, also known as PIF, is the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia and is run by Mohammed bin Salman. Since this acquisition, Evo has begun a huge expansion into different countries, first with France and Singapore, and now massively becoming global with events with Morocco, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and China. Saudi Arabia has also been involved in controversy due to many reasons. The main ones are due to the human rights violations that have been ongoing, such as discrimination against women, a lack of LGBT rights, and migrant workers being treated in extremely poor conditions. There's also the death of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was assassinated by orders from MBS in 2018, which has been widely condemned by the larger world. There is also some that don't get talked as much in the wider context, and that is because of the Yemen war. Yemen has been going through a famine and a humanitarian crisis due to the ongoing war, and Saudi Arabia has exacerbated this too. They implemented a blockade in 2015 that is still being enforced to this day. This has been condemned by the UN and other organizations, where in 2021, they have stated that more than 17.4
million people are food insecure, and the likelihood that the number of people experience famine-like levels of hunger will increase from 31,000 to 161,000. The money that is being used and spent on by Saudi Arabia and the PIF is through blood money. There is no other way of explaining it. Other Saudi funds like the Misk Foundation have acquired SNK back in 2022, and they've also announced in 2026 that they acquired 6% of the shares in Capcom. This is due to a project called Saudi Vision 2030, an initiative to diversify Saudi Arabia's economy away from oil into other avenues such as funding the entertainment and sports sectors, having a Mr. Beast theme park for some reason, and building a city that is just a line, which I've heard is going very well. All this money and wealth coming from a huge wealthy company has this effect of strong-arming the grassroots and largely poor scene into being taken over by EVO. There are competitors who are refusing to attend EVO and other Saudi-run events such as the Esports World Cup, and a lot of TOs have also refused to take the money, but unfortunately, it is still being supported with competitors still attending despite this takeover, and many esports organizations will drop you without a word if you don't attend the big sports washing event of the year. However, not everyone has been quiet.
The reason I'm speaking about this way because it's the truth. The reason this exists is very clear. You can choose not to say what it is, but we all know why there's 9 EVOs a year. It's not about prestige. They don't care about prestige. They want to own the entire year, therefore the entire tours, therefore all of the competitive output of fighting games is their own. They want the ownership. It's what they've done to like every other thing in sport. The money is in viewership. I don't know how to break it to you, but the money is not in viewership. The money is just in the money. They just own the money. They're not making money doing this. They're burning money, but they don't care. They're spending capital to gain social capital and control over a space and like an ecosystem. They're like not.
While I've been researching this video, I've come across the works of Patrick Miller, aka Pat the Flip. He's an Xrd player, former developer on 2XKO, and a writer over on his Patreon. He talks a lot about the queer fighting game community, TOing, and great interviews with other FGC members. One of the articles that stood out to me is his one talking about money from the UFO Locals Fund. He argues that TOing local fighting games can be an act of political praxis, where you first build a community that really likes to play the game, that you all like, foster that community to care for others, and have them all align with similar morals and values that in turn allow them, as he describes it, as the process of cultivating class consciousness through grassroots organizing as a practical affair. He also says this in the same article as well. Had I decided to burn a bunch of cash on it with the hopes of growing fast and monetizing, it would not have worked out. However, the returns in community goodwill are easily the best I've ever seen doing, well, anything. And it has to do with the psychological difference between consumerism and volunteerism. Asking for money in exchange for a good or service is a relatively straightforward marketplace transaction, but asking for time and support in order to do something that brings me little to no financial benefit is an act of joining forces to do something cool together. When people volunteer to do something, they feel good about being part of something good, and that makes them want to do it again. We led with generosity and receive generosity in return, which allows us to be generous, and so on. It's important we go to these locals because it's great to support one another when a huge company is slowly moving its way in and completely taking over the scene that we once cherished. And that's why I love going to these locals. You may have noticed that I'm not recording this in person anymore. That's simply because I just wanted to experience the event as an event. Throughout the whole weekend, I was worried about recording my footage, spending time walking around taking B-roll footage and figuring out where's a good place to sit down and record. It would be hypocritical of me to say, hey, you should go to these locals, while also not participating in the local itself. It may also be hypocritical of me to say you should go to a local while I'm filming at a major event, where it costs tons of money just to enter, but these majors are what you would experience at a local, but on a larger scale. For background, I used to organize a monthly Smash tournament back in 2018 to 2019, and I did it because getting to other tournaments was just a slog, and I felt there was a good way to build a community here, so I hosted one. I hosted it at a pub, and it was a fantastic experience. I learned a lot from running these tournaments, handling multiple consoles and trying to manage everything by myself, which was a lot. But I also made a lot of friends too, even some who are still friends with to this day, and even some of these attendees went off to become fantastic commentators as well. If you know, you know. I say this to say I know how fulfilling it is to see a community be birthed from the fruits of your labor, knowing firsthand that having friends who truly have your back is a beautiful thing to see. There are so many fantastic locals that I've been to that have this great sense of community and camaraderie that is lacking in many online spaces like social media. You might have also noticed that this footage I'm showing you looks like complete shit. Maybe it looks like it was recorded in 2009. Well, no. This stream footage is of an unofficial plus R tournament that I entered, and well, the stream setup was just a webcam that was pointed at a monitor, and the game was also being played on mini PC setups too. This is what the FGC really is. Not Saudi Arabian funded tournaments, not prize pools in the millions, and especially not fighting game players who love to sell you AI chatbots. It's this. All you really need is a mini PC, a group of people, a fighting game you all like, and a place to do it all in. I would like to quote Patrick Miller one last time as well. Support your local indie fighting game devs. Nurture your poverty scenes playing games long irrelevant to capitalism, and loudly support the developers that align with your values because they align with your values, to make it clear that you're willing to walk. I have long encouraged people to play the games they love. Perhaps it's time to empathize playing the games that love you back. Thank you so much for watching the video. I highly appreciate it, and I know this is a different kind of video than usual, but I kind of like talking about fighting games, and usually fighting game videos don't do too well on my channel, but this is the me video, so fuck it, whatever. I also would like to shout out my Patreon. Thank you ever so much. I wouldn't have been able to make this video without the help of Patreon. All the names will be scrolling by right now, and if you want to subscribe, it's only like £5 a month. I have a video up about reviewing, tier listing extreme horror that I recommend you check out if you have the time. I also have recently put up a blog post of all of the future planned videos I'll be going through, and the next video will be about it's going to be a sort of sequel to my YouTuber analog horror series. So whoever asked for my opinions on Shelby Oaks, don't worry, that's coming very soon. Anyway, like and subscribe, follow, ring the bell, yada yada yada, and I hope you have a good day.